Hello, Taina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. You?
Good, thank you. Please start by introducing yourself.
Sure. Well, my name is Taïna. I'm from Montreal, Quebec. I've been in the coffee industry for 8 years now, nine almost. And I specialized in commercial coffee services. So for restaurant chains, office space, so anywhere you would go and buy a coffee or consume a coffee at work or at a business.
What inspired you to get into this line of work?
Um, Opportunity, I would say. I didn't drink coffee before. When I was in university, I didn't drink coffee. And then I went to Italy. I got introduced to another definition of coffee that really fitted more with what I thought it should be. And when I came back, I had an opportunity to import a product from Italy that are eco-friendly, biodegradable coffee pots. And so I started importing that because I had an opportunity, and I became obsessed with this eco-friendly capsule, and that's how it started. Yeah.
Nice. Did you face challenges when you were starting your business, like importing a food product into Canada, funding, letters of credit, CFIA? What challenges did you face?
I've been very lucky logistically speaking. You know, I fell upon a roaster that I went to see personally, and whom I've established okay, maybe a family-like relationship where I don't need to use letter of credits or anything. I can pay after I receive my goods, which is like a very, very, very good deal. So it essentially allowed me to start having my first orders without having to pay for them upfront, although it was an international relationship. So that's really, really good. And I faced more challenges regarding culture. It's a lot about culture.
Hmm.
So coffee is a lot about culture. The culture of coffee here, the culture of coffee in Europe, the culture of coffee specifically in Italy. And I have faced challenges with my manufacturers, whether it's for the coffee or the equipment, the machines in Italy, that are legitimately like completely linked to only the perception of what coffee is. So in Italy, barely nobody uses milk in their coffee. They drink very short espresso. Um, and here we drink a lot of milk. 80% of the market is people drinking coffee with milk. So when we first ordered coffee machine, like you're probably wondering how does that translate into an issue. But when we ordered our first coffee machines, we ordered them with milk frothers, which was really important for here. And the manufacturer in Italy thought they had a defect or they didn't work properly or he was scared they would break too fast, so he just sent us machines without milk frother without telling us. And then when we're like, okay, but where are the milk frothers, they said, well, nobody uses that, like why do you care, it's not there, you know, like we took it out your bill, like you have no milk frother, who cares. So those are little things. That was my first encounter, my first difficulty encounter. It was the first second, right? The first time we opened the first box of the first shipment. I understood that there had to be a very extra care to be put into the way we want our goods manufactured, packaged, or made based on that cultural definition of what coffee should be and the way it's consumed and how it should look and how it should feel. So those are the things that I've encountered more than, let's say, logistics about how to pay who, how to make the containers come here. Other things that people don't well, it's not a difficulty, it's just something you have to shut up and live with. It's the random checks of the customs that are extremely expensive and that you have no control over. So, you know, when you're an importer that doesn't import 20 container a year, you get a lot more checkups because small loads and small importers are at higher risk of importing illegal goods, I suppose. So those are the things that I have to deal with importing coffee. As in regards of food, well, coffee, I mean, is really the best thing to import because it doesn't perish fast. You don't need, well, here in Quebec, it's called MAPAC, but you don't need any specific handling or specific, I don't know, certificate, I would say in
Hmm.
English. You
Hmm.
don't need any specific certificate for handling the food because it's coffee. Well, when it's already roasted, right? When that's when it's green. So it's pretty easy, and there's no taxes on coffee either. So it's really fun product to start with, I would say.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And did you face any difficulties, from your friends and families? Like, were they supportive that you would go into the entrepreneur route and not have a fixed income with a fixed job, regular hours?
I'm very, very, very lucky. Both my parents are very supportive, although not in business at all. My dad's an anthropology university teacher, so he's really more about, I don't know, it's not a capitalist,
Mhm.
So when I announced to him I wanted to go to HSC, which is business school here in Montreal, him, he was a professor in, social sciences, and it's very, it's far away from him. He'd make jokes about it, but he always supported me. And so my mom as well. So my mother is Moroccan and my dad is French Canadian. And in Morocco, my family has many businesses. Like we do weddings and cakes and pastries. We have a hammam in our home, which is the hammam from the whole neighborhood. So on my mom's side, it's a lot more entrepreneurial, even though she isn't. And for my dad, it was just as long as I studied, my dad was okay with it.
In
Yeah.
regards to your business, why do you focus on B2B? Why do you focus on, working with retailers or offices or, you know,
Well, B2B, first of all, because it's easier to enter the market on B2B. You don't need a massive amount of money. All you need is a lot of guts and contacts, I guess, and a lot of sales. Like, I mean, between you and the Nespresso rep, if you have a good product and you target your customers just as well as the competition, once you show up in the office or in the business, you have just as much sense, even though if you're a multi-million dollar company or just some local really good coffee service. So that's why I chose to start with B2B. But I also developed a huge love for it just because, like, I feel like every relationship with the customers is worth more and can go more, like, deeper. Like selling a bag of coffee to someone home and having, I don't know, thousands of dollars of contract with equipment and maintenance and perks and back and forth with an office with 50 people, that the livelihood, like the happiness of the general population in the office kind of is based on coffee, right? Like coffee really does bring happiness to people. And then these people you get to know, and you get to know the people that work in the organization because you have to interact with them for the service and the deliveries and everything. So it's really, I don't know, I just find there's more value into entertaining that relationship than having to communicate through impersonal channels to reach your customer. And
100%?
yeah, I ended up finding a lot of value in there and being able to make it grow with a lot less capital and a lot less money, or no investors, as a matter of fact. But if you'd want to be a very popular B2C coffee company, you need a massive, massive investment for publicity and exposure.
How did the pandemic affect your business?
Terribly, actually. We lost about all of our volume in 24 hours. So what I did is, which is why I can now say I rather much B2B than B2C, I launched myself into a crazy endeavor that worked out really well, of launching two new coffee brands, an e-com website, accessories for home coffee, accessories and coffee machines for home, which I never did, which I never wanted to do, and then selling online. And I did that. So that's what we did. And it went really well. We created a new brand. We won a prize for the design, the branding. So it was really fun. But now I decided to use that brand and switch it to B2B rather than continue with the B2C. So now we have a completely different market, but still for B2B, with that new coffee brand that's very different from the first one.
That's super nice. Like you're a very agile entrepreneur. When a challenge happened, when the pandemic, came, you were able to switch up and focus on a different
Yeah.
market and try to. Based on this, like, what do you think other qualities entrepreneurs should have?
I think we need to be, in French, the word is intrépide. Let me see on Google Translate what it would be in English, because um, it's a good word, and that's the. I'm very French. I'm so sorry. Intrepid, intrepid. Is that a meaning? Is that a word in English?
I'm not
Intrepid,
sure.
fearless, adventurous.
Fearless, yes.
You know,
Adventurous.
yeah, intrepid. So yeah, it's the same word. Intrepid is a quality I think we need to be. Um, so there's a bit of courage mixed with a bit of when you're unconscious of the dangers that are coming up front to you, you need a little bit of that. I think to be able to go forward and make projects happen. A little bit unconscious is a good thing.
What have you enjoyed most about starting your company?
Creating the brands. That's what I always liked because I studied marketing, and all I wanted was like to manage brands and create brands and brand identity. So that's what I had the most fun doing. I'm also really obsessed with like processes and making things work automatically. It's like my favorite thing. So when I can figure out a way to repetitively do something for the least amount of money and especially the least amount of effort. So this is really fun. So this is why now I've built a business that I can literally not work for 2, 3 months. And, it's a lot of solely based on recurring revenues. And I have automated a lot of the tasks. So our machines are connected to Wi-Fi. So we have like data that's coming to us like right away for orders and maintenance. And so those are the things the two things I enjoyed the most: automating the business and creating brands.
And in regards to your employees, how do you pick them? How do you choose to hire employees? Do you have any employees?
Yeah, I do. I do. I don't know how to say that. It's maybe too much feeling, but I mean, it's going really well. So there's two things, right? So I hire a firm that has an HR department, but also law and accounting. So this firm has three departments, and they work as one department for for small businesses like me. So usually, like your lawyer doesn't know the HR consultant, nor does he know your accountant, but now everybody's part of the same team. So when you need to hire somebody, the HR makes a job description, posts post the ads, do the interview with you in accordance to how much you can afford, because they're your accountants, so they know how much
Mhm.
you can afford based on the value on the market. And then they draft the paperwork. The customer, the person, not the customer, but the employee, negotiates salaries. Then law makes the whole contract. And I think that whole process helps me personally go further with my gut feeling, if I can say, because I know all the important parts are covered by this firm that I hire. So I can focus just on, is this a good fit? Is this the right person? Because all of the mechanical, colder variables, if I can say, are taken in charge by these guys. So it's going really well, and it's fun for me to do it because I have that support. And so I personally choose a lot on gut feeling and aspirations. And yeah, I think, and especially now that a lot of people work from home, it's it's easier, I find, because they know I don't know, I feel there was less conflict if everybody does their work, obviously.
Mhm. What advice would you give someone who is looking into starting a business in your space, in the food and beverage industry, or in the coffee business? Or
You know what? It's a bit of a counterintuitive advice, but I got that advice from a teacher from business school, and then I thought it was stupid, but then I did it. And now I give that advice to a lot of people, and it seems to work out a little bit too. I would say call the top 10 competitors in your region and tell them you're about to do the same thing and you'd love to meet them. So out of 10, five are going to tell you to fuck off, excuse my language. Two are going to be extremely, I mean, two are going to be like real enemies for the rest of your life. Um, Two are going to want to see you, and one might become a very important strategic partner. And as a matter of fact, that's what my teacher had told me. And when I finally did that, it actually happened. So one of the companies that I had called, now I'm partners with. We actually have a joint venture together. Another one has become one of my main supplier. Because when you do the same thing as someone, is it really the same thing? Can he provide service for you? Can you provide service for him? Maybe you have different size of different targets. Maybe you can exchange leads. Maybe you have, there's a lot of possibilities. And had I done that, like I did that maybe 3 years after I started my business, and I've discovered gems of people that I now work with, and that my business would not operate without them the same way. So I wish I had done that before, because I would have figured out better people to work with from the beginning. So that's my advice. And not to be, well, I mean, for sure, 100%, you're going to meet some very hostile some very hostile replies, but bear through them, because if you get if you meet one, I don't know, someone that's been in the industry for 50 years and they're older and they've made all their money, and I mean they might just want to support the younger kids, and it truly does happen. And it happened to me, and it happened to a lot of people I gave that advice to. And you can find mentorship, partnership, or suppliers, or someone that just feeds you lead they don't want. There's a company, they're like, we only do offices with 100 people and more. I'm like, what? Feed me anything that's under that, and it's actually still my target market, and I've been doing great with the target market, and they just feed us the leads they don't want. So you never know.
My last question to you: how far are you from being one of the top 10 competitors in your region?
Yeah, I'm probably on some people's list right now. No, I'm joking. Well, the competitors I have are really big. So the coffee business in the Montreal area, they're all like 50, 60 years old, established. The kids took over. So it's going to take me a long timeline to get as big, but I am definitely busting a lot of balls, if I can say something like that. Definitely. They all know who I am, that's for sure.
Where do you see your growth in the next 5 years?
If we keep on with this strategy that we have regarding grabbing restaurant chains with a lot of locations, should be pretty interesting. Ontario is a target for the near future, definitely. And I don't have the aspirations of like the blitz scaling, and I'm more this company of one. There's two books. There's Blitzscaling and then Company of One. Have you read that book? Do you know which book I'm talking about? It's really good. It's the antithesis, right, of Blitzscaling. So it's about how do you build a company that makes you and your customer happy, but that doesn't have that hunger for exponential, unlimited growth of the time. So I'm kind of like that. I don't have that unlimited growth idea. I have more of a, when do I reach the level of freedom that I want idea? And then how do I sustain that with the least amount of work? So that's more of like my I don't know how, like my line.
How can you suppress human greed? Like, that's hard.
Well, it's, what? It's because my greed, I guess I'm lazy. I know I'm joking, but like I work really hard, but guess for me, my ratio, like money, effort, is extremely present. And I will ditch out a lot of money to diminish my effort. But I do things really well. Like the business is doing really well. The customers are doing really well. What we do is really fun. It's just that it's more because I do everything I do for two reasons. Like fun and freedom. And in freedom, there's money and help for me, right? So everything I do, whether it brings me fun or freedom, which is money and health. So sometimes you need more time to eat healthier or train more or do other things. So it's just, to me, money is just that bargaining chip to come and get the funnier stuff. Because I mean, truthfully, you don't have a less painful time at the gym if you wear $500 sneakers or a fucking $100 Nike pair. Like you're still sweating the same. And I have that thing where it's just like, yeah, it's more about using money as a bargaining chip to make my life more fun, more free, more creative, more, I don't know, have more time to connect with people and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just on a different time zone, I guess, than that very stressful, intense, infinite, never-ending search for growth.
This is an excellent answer. You have been an excellent guest. Thank you very
Oh,
much
thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay,
Have a good
bye.
night. Bye bye.